Thank you, Alex, and welcome from me as well. We're super excited to have you all here, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about first myself, but then also our programming and our themes for this year. My name is Anita Broellochs, and I am the founder and CEO of Balletic Foods. During the day, at night, I am the program director for the Cultured Meat Symposium. And my background is in bioprocess engineering, and back in 2016, actually, I got to work on some really cool multiphoton microscopy work back in Germany. I'm from Germany originally, so I was studying at the Friedrich-Alexander University in Erlangen. And what we were doing is optically clearing muscle tissue. So this is actually an example of a mouse muscle tissue. It was super interesting to do all this muscle research, and I learned a lot about muscles. And that is really when I first heard about the concept of cultured meat and got interested in it. And then I talked to Alex and the rest of the CMS team, and that's really when SVCMS was born. And we started out with a podcast in 2017, and then we started planning for the very first Cultured Meat Symposium back in 2018, so it has really been over 7 years, so it's just actually crazy to think that this is the 7th year we're hosting this event. So after I got into the field, I learned a lot, and I tried to really think about what I could do to support the field. And I eventually, in 2021, founded Balletic Foods, or co-founded Balletic Foods, which is producing fermentation-derived meat protein ingredients. And so this approach is a little bit different to cultured meat, where in cultured meat, you're trying to get the muscle cells to replicate and to grow in a bioreactor. So we're not trying to do that. We're not working with the actual animal muscle cells, but instead we're using microbes to produce only the protein that is found in muscle tissue. So we're genetically engineering microbes, and they're doing the work for us. So it's very similar to brewing beer, but instead of alcohol, our organisms produce protein. So one thing that actually a lot of people in the vegan community don't want to accept, or sometimes just ignore the fact that, but plant proteins suck sometimes. And I'm vegan too, but they're just, if you look at the facts, they're just not as good as animal protein, right? And there's a couple different ways you can measure the protein quality. One is called a DIAS score. That stands for digestible indispensable amino acid score. And so what that really is, proteins are made up of amino acids, and most amino acids our bodies can actually produce, but there are some amino acids that are essential, so we can actually not produce them, so we need to eat them through our food. And if you have an animal-based source of protein, that actually is always complete, or so it includes all the essential amino acids. But if you look at plant protein, those are always lacking one or multiple of those essential amino acids. That's why if you're on a vegan diet, you actually need to make sure that you're combining a lot of different proteins. But sometimes it's actually very hard to do, and I'm vegan myself, but if you're, for example, just eating like a burger patty that's vegan and it's made out of pea protein, and you can see here the score for pea protein is actually very low, and you're thinking like, oh, I'm eating this as a meat replacement, that's actually not good, right? You need to add like other proteins in it. And so that's why we're at Balletic Foods, we're creating protein that is highly optimized and efficient, and that is really optimized for our nutrition. So if you're eating it, like most of it can be absorbed and your body can actually utilize it. We have developed something called Balletic Nova, and right now we're actually testing that with a lot of different applications, and that goes really from meat alternatives to shakes to protein bars, a lot of different things. So if anyone is interested in anything like that, come find me later. I'll be happy to chat.